Welcome back to the Plus Side of Nashville. We've been talking to the CEO and president of Hands On Nashville, Lori Shinton, about our local nonprofits and their needs and how things may have changed during the COVID era that we're in the midst of. And before we went to the break, we were talking about this being the volunteer state and how so many people are so giving and want to volunteer. There may be people who are still a little bit leery, want to volunteer, want to give up their services because they realize there are still the needs out there. And they can do that now, Lori. They can still be safer at home and volunteer, can't they?
Yes, ma'am. COVID has made us get creative, and it's been a good thing in some ways. But we now have a virtual volunteering page on our website where you can go to and scroll through all kinds of volunteer opportunities. Now, some of the common ones that people will have already heard about are making masks at home. But we could also use things like graphic designers. You can do that work from home. And all kinds of opportunities that are remote and completely safe and is so beneficial for our nonprofits.
And so they can just go to your website and then there's a link on there that can take them to the virtual volunteering section?
Yes, ma'am. I looked at it right before I came on this show, and we had about 20 opportunities.
Wow, that is wonderful. Well, typically, Lori, when I start out, I always like to kind of have presidents and CEOs kind of take us through what the mission of their organization is. For people who may be new to Nashville, may not know exactly what Hands On Nashville is all about. Kind of give us an overview of your mission.
Sure. Ours is really simple. It is to connect volunteers to community need. And so if you think about anything volunteering, that's what Hands On Nashville is about. The way we do that is we partner with about 170 nonprofits in town that post their volunteer opportunities through us. And so we kind of amplify their voice. So if a nonprofit say is small and doesn't have a big audience, sometimes they utilize us because we have tens of thousands of people that have volunteered over the years. And so we send that message out and let people know, hey, here's this need. Come do it, virtually do it, but come support this organization and their great needs.
Absolutely. And you do a wonderful job with it as well. There's so many people who have lost their jobs or who have been furloughed or laid off. And then there's like the school children who are home and did not get a chance to go to school and may not get those 3 meals per day. Are you finding that the organizations are telling you that there's a greater need in certain areas and that they really wish they had help with?
Absolutely. And you mentioned it, food security, but you reminded me of another opportunity that's a virtual opportunity. That's virtual tutoring. Think about all the students that are missing the classroom activities right now. And that's a totally safe way to really connect and help a student, continue their education path.
That is great. I was often thinking to myself that if I had to try to homeschool my child, I don't have children, but if I did, I just don't know if I would feel comfortable or strong enough in certain areas. So that's where that you can bring in the tutors.
Absolutely. And it's hugely helpful. And I'm with you. I would not be able to tutor someone in math.
Me either. That would definitely be where I would have to bring in the tutor. So what would you say are Hands On Nashville's primary focus right now? Are there certain areas that you guys, as you said, the food area is one definitely, but also what about organizations that may be helping, that can help folks who maybe have job losses?
So we don't, I don't know of any of that right off the top of my head where people are asking for volunteers around that. But what I will say is that every nonprofit that is serving people, and that would include people that have job losses. The issue right now really is people are worried about their own personal safety. And so getting them out to volunteer is more difficult than it's normally been. And again, I completely understand it. We do two things to address that. One, we send every volunteer a survey after they volunteered about, did you feel safe? And if they did not, then we follow up with that nonprofit who hosted that opportunity, just to educate and make sure that the next time people do feel safe. The other thing we've done is we surveyed our volunteers over in June because we saw such a drop off, and people want to do it. They just want to feel safe when they do it. So for instance, they feel more comfortable volunteering outside than inside. They feel more comfortable volunteering virtually, obviously, but they feel more comfortable volunteering with groups of people that they know and not large groups. Like there's a significant drop off when you get past 10 people volunteering.
Yes, and I can totally understand that. Lori, we got to take another break, but we'll be back with more on Hands on Nashville right after this.